Hey guys, what's going on? James here, and in this video today, we're going to be talking about how both Jamel Dean and Giovani Bernard have been ruled out for the Buccaneers Week 4 matchup versus the New England Patriots. If you guys are new here, go ahead and subscribe, hit the like button if you do enjoy these videos, and leave your thoughts about Dean and Bernard being out in week number 4 down in the comments section below. This is, on one hand, surprising, on the other hand, not surprising. What do I mean by that? Because both of these players had sustained injuries in week number 3, right? Jamel Dean, he had sustained a knee injury. Giovani Bernard, he had sustained an MCL sprain. So there was definitely some concern as to whether both guys would be participating in week number 4. So why is this surprising? Well, firstly, in the case of Jamel Dean, he was practicing throughout the week. Granted, on a limited capacity, but he was still practicing. And there really wasn't a ton of indications that Dean, was going to be in a super danger of missing the week 4 matchup. Bruce Arians had came out and said, yeah, he's a little sore, but he is still out there practicing. Todd Bowles had came out and said, hey, we'll know in the next couple of days as to whether or not he can or cannot play. Regardless, if the guy's practicing, you got to assume his chances are decent of playing in the game. And it was way different from what was initially reported, how people were saying, well, Dean, he might miss a few weeks here, he might miss a little bit of time. No, he just started practicing right away, so there definitely was some optimism there. Now it's switched back over to Dean being out in week number 4. So that's kind of how it's surprising to me, considering Dean, he was practicing, be it in a limited capacity throughout the week. I thought that he still had a pretty decent chance of playing. In the case of Giovani Bernard, this one isn't as surprising, considering, Bernard did not practice at all throughout this week. He is still dealing with his MCL sprain. Bruce Arians had came out earlier in the week and said that he was day-to-day. And yeah, if you don't practice, there's a pretty good chance that you're not going to play in the game. So on one hand, it's a little surprising with Dean. On the other hand, not as surprising with Giovani Bernard. But what are the Buccaneers losing here, both on offense and on defense, in terms of, players, roles, snap counts, whatever it may be? What are the Buccaneers losing here in week number 4? Well, in the case of Jamel Dean, in my opinion, I still think it's a tough blow to the defense. Regardless of what the thoughts may be on Dean through 3 weeks of the season right now, at the end of the day, Jamel Dean is still a starter on this defense, and the depth will continue to be tested here for the Buccaneers. Yes, they did add Richard Sherman. I'll be talking about that in the preview video. Yes, they have some guys on the practice squad as well, but these guys are still learning the playbook. Jamel Dean gave you a guy who's been in Todd Bowles' system. He's a young, athletic cornerback, and yeah, I just think it's going to be a hit there to the Buccaneers defense losing a starter in Dean. In the case of Giovani Bernard, this is definitely a blow to the Buccaneers passing game. Giovani Bernard, he was the main pass blocking back. He was the third down running back. He was the 2-minute running back. He had his role, and I think he was good in his role, and we finally started to see him get some stuff going in week number 3, where he was targeted 10 times, had 9 receptions for 60-plus yards. So it's a darn shame to see Giovani Bernard out of this game right whenever he was starting to get things going in week number 3. It definitely sucks. Now, what can the Tampa Bay Buccaneers do to replace the production that both of these players may have given them in week number 4? Well, firstly, in the case of Jamel Dean, Bruce Arians said today, as of the recording of this video, October 1st, that Richard Sherman will be dressed for the game with Dean out. Now, there is no indication as to how much Richard Sherman is going to be playing in this week 4 matchup, but it will still be worth monitoring, in my opinion. Also, with Dean out, you should expect a lot more playing time from guys like Ross Cockrell, D. Delaney. Both those guys played a ton in the Week 3 matchup versus the LA Rams. And you also could probably expect both Pierre Desir and Rashard Robinson, or, both of them, to be elevated to the active roster for this Week 4 matchup. Not necessarily fully being added to the 53-man roster, but, with practice squad rules, you can elevate, I believe, 2 players on game day to be a part of the 53-man roster. I imagine that it would more likely than not be both Pierre Desir and Rashard Robinson, if I had to guess, because Jamel Dean is out. So that's kind of what you should expect in terms of the Buccaneers cornerback room. Will Richard Sherman get some playing time? Will they turn to guys who have been there even a little bit longer in the case of Pierre Desir, Rashard Robinson, and then also I would expect them to use D. Delaney and Ross Cockrell in this upcoming game as well. Going to the offensive side of the football, in the case of Giovani Bernard, I talked about this in an earlier video this week. Expect Leonard Fournette to get many more snaps on passing opportunities and third downs. I think this also means that Keshawn Vaughn will be making his season debut for the 2021 season. I don't expect them to elevate another running back or add another running back or anything along those lines. I think that they're going to roll with Leonard Fournette at the 1, Ronald Jones at the 2, and then Keshawn Vaughn as that third back. Not necessarily a third down back, because again, I think that Leonard Fournette will be in that role. But expect to see a lot more Leonard Fournette. Expect to see probably a little bit more of Ronald Jones and maybe a sprinkle of Keshawn Vaughn as well. But anyway, guys, that's going to be it for this update video, this injury update video, if you will. I haven't heard anything else of guys like Rob Gronkowski, JPP, or anything else along those lines. I think those guys are expected to play, which is a good thing. I don't think I have to make a video on that. They should be ready to go and ready to play. If anything changes, though, of course, I've got you guys with a update video. But anyway, guys, what do you think about all this? What do you think about Dean and Bernard being out in week number 4? What do you think about some of the alternatives I gave that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers could turn to with both the starting cornerback and their versatile pass-catching running back being out for this week 4 matchup? Give me your thoughts on all of that. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.